Hello, hello, hello. This is Talking Manchester United, a United Stand podcast with myself, Paul Gardner. And joining me as always is Ash Burns. Ash, how are you, my friend?
Yes, not bad at all, mate. Not bad. Pretty decent week, can't complain. Still alive. How about yourself?
Hey, not too bad, not too bad. Good result against Swansea.
Yep.
We'll come on to that in a moment. How was your Easter break? Did you get up to much?
Just work. Just still, plodding along, pulling lambs. Yeah, all good fun.
Yeah. Fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, did you have a break?
Yeah, had a nice bank holiday weekend, long weekend, Friday and the Monday. So not everybody gets that luxury, unfortunately, do they, Ash?
No, that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a sporting weekend. Watched the boxing,
Yeah,
the Joshua Parker fight. Did you watch that?
I did. Yeah,
What a
interesting.
waste of time that was.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It wasn't the best.
Watched the Man United game, and I even watched a basketball game.
Oh, I did see you put a message out about it or something. I think it was the Spurs, is it? Because I did see you tweet the hashtag "Go Spurs Go," and I thought he's changed allegiances, surely. And then there is that. Must have been the Spurs in the NBA.
That's right. Yeah, it's the Houston Rockets against the San Antonio Spurs. I think it was. Yeah, it was actually a good game. I've never watched a game of basketball in my life, and I was around Drulty's house.
Yeah,
and watched it around there. It's pretty good. But anyway. Oh. The people want to hear us talk about Man United. So let's jump into that, shall we?
Yeah.
Man United 2, Swansea 0, Lukaku and Sanchez on the score sheet.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the game?
Much better. Much better, especially the first half. Again, I think it was one of those we've said a lot this season. It's sort of a game of two halves, and I thought it did sort of follow that trend for most of the game then. I thought first half. Go on.
For both halves, it followed that trend for both halves.
Yeah, it was, and it was. Yeah, I thought first half we were very, very good. I thought we come out, we looked hungry, we looked to chase the game, and it paid off. Paid off nice and early. Was it early? I can't even remember.
It was fairly early, 5 minutes and 20 minutes.
That's it, Lukaku, wasn't it? Yeah, Lukaku, 5 minutes, that's it. I thought it was the early goal. Yeah, and that settled us down. And I think once we've done that this season on quite a few occasions, more towards the start of the season where we've got the early goal and we've looked to settle and we've looked decent. And I thought we looked like that throughout most of the first half. I thought our attack was fluid. I thought, again, I'm sure we'll come to the lack of Martial and Rashford really helped us in that sort of game. I thought we were fantastic on the ball. We made, a real sort of progression, I think, in terms of the way we transitioned through attack. I thought there was plenty of space. I thought everyone used the space well. And I thought it was just a much improved performance in the first half. Second half tailed off a bit, but I think that was due to maybe some tactical changes and some substitutions, which we'll come to. But yeah, I was very pleased. I expected us to get the win. I was a little bit disappointed we didn't get more goals, to be fair, because there was a lot more goals in that game, a couple of missed chances again. But not happy with the win, happy with the performance. And yeah, it stands us in good stead going into the weekend.
It does indeed. And you're quite right. It was definitely a game of two halves.
Yeah.
The first half was great. I think, and I did put a tweet out. Actually, let me see if I can find the tweet. So I think I put it out on the Talking Manchester United Twitter account. So if I just quickly go on to that now. Here are the tweets. Where has it gone? Here we go. Yeah, so it was a poll that I did. So I put a tweet out saying, for every game, fan expectation is high, but too often we've been let down by our performances. However, after Jose's comments post-Brighton, you could say expectation will be much higher than usual today. This was obviously for the Swansea game.
Yeah.
With that said, how do you see today's game going? And I put two options: entertaining win, getting that reaction, or same old drab.
Yeah.
And the result, now I put this tweet out pretty much right before the game, so only got a handful of votes, but it was still enough to gauge what fans were thinking.
Yeah.
And it was 51% in favour of same old drab. Now, 51%, that's pretty much half and half, really, when you think about it. So it speaks volumes of the confidence that the fan base has in Jose to be able to turn it around.
Yeah.
And it's like the fan base had just split completely in half. So going into this game, I expected a reaction, and I was confident that we'd get an entertaining win. So although I'm in the very slight majority, I thought that was the way it was going to go, and it did for the first half.
Yeah.
Like I said, definitely a game of two halves. The first half, I thought we were really good. Jose definitely got a response from his players, that's for sure. The front four that played, was it Sanchez, Lingard, Mata, and Lukaku?
Yeah.
All played really well, I thought, linking up around the box. Lots of passing and moving going on. It was good to watch, and obviously creating plenty of chances, getting the 2 early goals. And I even thought that there was still another gear or two they could have switched up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
First half, brilliant. Really happy with that. But the second half, I found myself getting really frustrated again. I just thought that, I mean, yeah, okay, Swansea did make some changes at halftime. Tactically, personnel, they made some changes and they looked a lot more organised. But still, I thought, despite Swansea's improved organisation, we became very complacent, lacklustre and sloppy, especially in the later stages of the second half. I don't know what that is. Maybe the players thought the game was won. So, you know, they just took their foot off the pedal a little bit. The concentration went. But once again, David De Gea came to our rescue with 2 world-class saves.
Yeah.
Both from Tammy Abrahams, who we did point out as a danger man. And when he came on, I thought, oh, here we go. Balls were coming in. They were getting the ball into his feet. And he did cause us problems. So you could say we were quite fortunate that we came away with a clean sheet.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it's vintage Dave, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, absolutely superb. And again, it was just one of those where, you know, he didn't have hardly anything to do for a lot of the game, and then he just snaps into action so quickly. And it was, it was very frustrating that second half. And as you said, that they did make changes, they did shore things up. But for me, it really didn't matter who they brought on. I think we should have dealt with it better. I think we should have kept going. And to me, it looks like another one of those where we go into halftime 2-0 up, and Jose's happy enough. That's what it looked like to me. And he's done that. Well, I mean, you know, I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like.
It did look like that.
Yeah,
but I don't think that's what he wanted, because I haven't actually watched the post-match interview, but I was reading tweets where people were quoting what he was saying, and he clearly wasn't happy with the fact that, I mean, he recognized that the second half wasn't as good as he wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was a case of he said to them, just take it easy.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the case at all. I think it was just the case of, you know, the players thought they had the game won. Swansea weren't exactly playing really, were they at all? No. And I think maybe in the second half, when they came out stronger, it took the players a bit by surprise. And I don't know. I don't think it was under instruction for the team to sort of, you know, become complacent, as it were.
Yeah, it was. It was a weird one again. I think because going into that second half, we started the second half with the same personnel. Looked like the same setup as the first half. I'm not quite sure. I didn't really take that much notice of it. So you know, it should have been fairly plain sailing for us, but it wasn't. And I think one of the factors, obviously, the change came a little bit later on, and I thought one change that didn't do us any favors was taking Jesse Lingard off, because I mean, you look at the plaudits and the pundits and everyone. They say about Alexis Sanchez and what a good game he had, and he got voted man of the match. For me, it was Jesse Lingard, and for, you know, not been the kid's biggest fan, but I watched him a lot against Swansea, and I thought he created so much by not doing an awful lot. I thought he was so fluid in that sort of final third. He set up the Sanchez goal. You could say took a little nick on the way through. And I just thought he was superb. I thought he linked up with Sanchez and Mata and Pogba really, really well. And in this sort of form, you know, we keep talking about the Lingard wave. I think, you know, I'm hoping it's coming back again. But I honestly thought he was superb against Swansea. And I thought after he made that change, he come off and Herrera come on, I think it was. I thought we looked a little bit stale again. And I thought Pogba was a little bit stale after that. I don't know whether there's, you know, some chemistry or maybe, you know, tactic change there. I don't know what it was. But, yeah, I just thought we looked very stale. We looked to slump back into that sort of, you know, lethargic sort of state. And it is frustrating. But I'd rather them frustrate us at 2-0 up than if we were at 0-0. So, I can give them that. They've got a massive game coming up. Maybe, after 2-0, their heads start switching to the City game. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy enough with the performance. But yeah, you always want more, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And I do think you're right with Lingard being in with a good shout at the Man of the Match award for that game against Swansea. He did play a part in both goals.
Yeah.
For Lukaku's goal, Matic played a nice ball. That's another thing Matic was good at again yesterday, and I picked up on this week before, that when he was picking the ball up, he was actually bringing it forward and looking for a forward pass, and he was doing that quite a lot during the game against Swansea. And he played that ball into Lingard, who then played a through ball into Sanchez, who knocked it across for Lukaku to score. So he played his part in that goal of quick thinking. The second goal, Sanchez, I suppose you could call it an assist.
Yeah.
Bit fortunate. It did take a deflection off the back of a Swansea player's foot.
Yeah.
But the important thing is that the ball got through to Sanchez. He got an assist there. So he definitely played a part in both goals. And again, like you say, without doing too much, he played really well, getting into space, linking up the play. But I think all of the forwards did that. Lingard, Mata, and Sanchez, they sort of all linking up very well. Position swapping and things like that, giving the defenders a bit of a nightmare. Like, where are they going? What positions are you playing in now? Who's watching them? Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. Yeah. Like you touched on as well, with Rashford and Martial out of the squad, our forwards seem to perform a lot better as a unit.
Yeah.
Now, you did mention Pogba briefly there as well. What did you make of his game? Considering up until now he's been quite poor, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah. I thought he played first half really well. I thought his touch looked back. He looked, a little bit more on his game. He put a few silky skills in there, a few decent passes, and I thought he looked more on it than that game. The last couple of games he's not looked too arsed at times. His passes have lacked a bit of zip. And you just sort of tell from his overall demeanor that he, I don't know what it was. There was something bothering him, maybe, or, he was sulking with the position he was playing. It could have been anything. But I thought he looked a lot better against Swansea, especially that first half. I thought he did tail off in the second half, but I think the whole team did. I thought we can't really pinpoint him. But, yeah, I thought he did much better. And I think having those three in front of him, Mata, Sanchez and Lingard, I think it does help him because as fantastic as he is at spraying long passes and finding the through balls, which he did miss quite a few against Swansea, I'll have to add. But I think with Sanchez, Mata and Lingard in that front three, they're three players who play more with their heads. And then you look at Martial and Rashford, they play more with their legs, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because Mata, Sanchez, Lingard, they're types of players who are always moving. They love to play one-touch football, and they're always looking for the next pass. Rashford, Martial receive it to feet, take a few touches, looking to beat a man, picking their heads up, and they try and speed the game up, but in their actual game, they're slowing the game down because they're retaining the ball for too long, and they're giving defenders and midfielders the chance to get back into position. So I think with the more intelligent footballer, I think Pogba, he prefers to play with that because he is the type of player that can find a pass from anywhere. You only have to look at the Mata chance. Mata should have finished off. Beautiful little clip ball through over the Swansea defence with his left foot. I think he could have blindfolded himself and he'd still made the pass. And I think we need to get him into those sort of areas more. Because as well as he does, striding through midfield, I think in that final third, picking out players like your Matas, your Sanchez's, your Lingards and Lukaku, I think that's where he's going to thrive. And I think, with us getting that goal, getting the second goal, it opened up a little bit more space, gave us a little bit more confidence, and he did look a lot better. Again, tactic change, whatever it was, halftime, he tailed off. But no, I was happy with his performance. I thought he stepped it up, especially in contrast to recent weeks. And I thought he's done it at the right time for me, especially going into the weekend, arguably one of the biggest games of our season. Just in terms of the occasion and everything. So yeah, I was impressed with him. But obviously, with Pogba, you could always ask for more.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Some people might say it was fantastic because they're comparing it to previous games. Yeah. But when you know how good Pogba can be, I don't think it was great. Yeah. But at the same time, it wasn't bad. He wasn't, playing a simple pass and knocking it out for a throw-in like he was a couple of weeks ago. Do you know what I mean? He kept it simple for the most part. There was that one chip over the top the Mata that you mentioned, which was absolutely spot on. I think he done it again as well for Sanchez. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Another one where we could have scored. So he's still got that about him. It's not like he's sort of regressed or gone into a shower or something. But I just don't think that he was as great as he can be. We didn't see him really, try to carry the ball very much or bring it forward. It was sort of like he just gave it to Matic to do that job. But I don't know. I don't know what's happened with Pogba yet. But we've got a big game coming up, and I have no doubt that he will start and he will have to show up against City. He really will. They all will, to be fair. Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah.
He's struggled for a bit of form recently. Assist and a goal.
Yeah.
That do wonders for him coming into Man City, do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. For me, he's the type of player that if he'd have got a goal and an assist, 3 goals, or if he'd have, come off the bench and done nothing, I think he's that type of player going into a game like City at the weekend. He's going to be fired up for it. I think those are the types of games he wants to play in. The derbies, everything that means a lot. He's usually pretty good in the derbies. I mean, you look at him, his scoring record against Spurs, I think it's pretty decent from what I remember. So yeah, but it was much improved from him. I think that he benefited playing with Lingard and Mata again, as you mentioned, that little ball into him. Intelligent plays, one-touch passing. He loves doing it. So I think that helped him a lot. Fantastically taken goal. Great finish. As we mentioned, that little pass come through to him, took a deflection from the defender, but he still managed to adjust his feet, fire in an early finish that the keeper had no chance. And I thought his overall play looked decent. Obviously, he still gives the ball away a bit. We know he does that, but that's because he's looking to create things. But I can't really decide where his best position is. We play him off the left, but I love seeing him in a central role. I think he's too intelligent to play off the wing. I think he's the type of player who brings other people into the game. And if we could somehow accommodate him and maybe Lingard or Mata, one of the two, in the centre, maybe behind Lukaku with players, spreading wide, I think it would be so dangerous, because those types of players interlinking all the time would be fantastic. But I doubt we're going to see anything like that against City. I think we're going to see a very safe performance. But yeah, I'm assuming he's going to play. And I think providing he gets the service, providing we play with the same tempo and the same attitude, I think he can do damage to City. So yeah, much improved and a lot better than we've seen from him in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I would say so. And I'm glad that he got that goal.
Yeah.
And I will call it an assist. I mean, I know Lukaku had to take a touch, but it's not like he took a touch, ran a few yards, and then shot. So I'm giving him the assist for that. Not that it's up to me.
Yeah.
Not that it's up to me at all, but I think a lot of people would have agreed on that. Assist and a goal is good. It's good for Sanchez. Good for his confidence. You could tell he was happy the way he celebrated that goal. He needed that.
Yeah.
So I think that puts him into good stead going into the City game. One other player I just want to quickly mention in the Swansea game, Victor Lindelof. Another start, another 90 minutes. What did you make of his performance? Yeah,
he's growing into the game. I think it was him. Was it him and Smalling at the back who started?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. And I was a bit concerned about that, because we know how both of them have been and how they can revert. If they haven't got that leader beside them, they can revert. But I thought he was decent. Again, nothing. There wasn't that much to do, I think, in the Swansea game. A few moments with Tammy Abraham and that, but I thought he looked decent. He brought the ball out okay. We know he can do better. And I really like to see him do more in terms of linking attacks and, bringing the ball out and being that first attacker, because we know he's got the ability. But I thought overall he did well. He's looking more and more comfortable every game he plays, I think, in a United shirt. I've still got faith in the lad. I think he can do really, really well. And as long as, providing he keeps going and showing the same form he has, I'd like to see him as one of our first choice centre backs next season, maybe alongside Bailly. So yeah, decent. I thought the majority of the defence was pretty good against Swansea. A few dodgy moments, but I think that was more in terms of the quality of Tammy Abraham and the ball into him, and then a lack of quality in our defence. But yeah, happy enough with him. He's growing into the team, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him next season. And after he's got a season under his belt, he's had a good pre-season. Getting him in and see how he does.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, even the best defenses in the world, in every game, are going to have one or two moments of defensive lapse or whatever you want to call it, a lapse in concentration at the back. It happens to to every defense.
Yeah.
But I thought, particularly in the first half, Lindelof was very good. I thought he was very strong up against Andre Ayew, who's not the smallest person in the world. I thought he kept him quiet very well. I was watching that little battle unfold. And then second half, our defence had a bit more to do, and I thought him and Chris Smalling both did, a fairly good job.
Yeah.
Lindelof showing his strength, Smalling making 1 or 2 important tackles, and again just showing his strength in the aerial duels and things like that. And so it was good to see Lindelof. But I keep saying it, I don't understand why Lindelof and Bailly don't get minutes together.
Yeah, I know.
I don't get it. In a game like that as well, I thought it would have been ideal.
Yeah. Not under too much pressure, plenty of time. And it's that balance, isn't it? That mentality balance I think we have to have, because Lindelof, he's fairly new to the league. He's cool, and he can have that sort of laid back attitude, as does Chris Smalling at times. I think Smalling, a few times in the game he got caught ball watching. And I think having someone with the mentality of Bailly next to him who's just an animal, and he goes for everything. Again, I keep referring to Vidic and Ferdinand, an absolute monster and someone with such a cool head. I think it works so well, such a good balance. So yeah, it is frustrating, but I got full confidence next season we can see it more, and I'm hoping that we do anyway.
Fingers crossed. But I certainly don't think we'll see that centre back pairing against City, but we'll come on to that next.
Yeah.
Do you want to take it away with the Man City preview then?
Yes, the Man City. Yeah, so as I mentioned, arguably, I think it's definitely one of the most important games of the season, just because of the occasion. What could happen? God forbid we lose this game. City being crowned champions against United. It's going to be a difficult one, I think, as it always is against City. You look at their previous form. 4 out of the last 5 games they've won. Only losing to Basel, which I think was a second string side, and they'd already put the tie to bed. And it's where do you start with this City team? Far and away the best team in the league by an absolute country mile. They've romped the league. And they just seem to have such a good balance in their team, and so much quality throughout the midfield and attack, and obviously over £1 billion spent on the defence. If you want to do the little thing that the media did with Sanchez and did all the agent fees and all the bits and bobs, I like saying that. It's £1 billion, by the way, on that defence. So yeah, it's City, isn't it? We know how much, we know how frustrating it's been for us United fans seeing them do well, but for me personally, you've just got to hold your hand up and say they've been superb this season. Nothing we can do. They've deserved everything that they've got. And we can't say they've been lucky. We can't say they've done this and that. They've just been superb, and their form is, whatever you look at this season, there's not really been any patches of instability or sort of lack of continuity with them. They've been superb throughout, and they've won. How many games have they lost this season? 2 or 3, or
2 in the league, yeah.
2 in the league, and maybe a couple then in the cups. But yeah, it's always going to be tough. I mean, you look at their previous results: Arsenal 3-0, they beat Chelsea. They just keep smacking everyone at the park. The only game you have to look at is the Liverpool game, I thought, where they really struggled, but they got absolutely battered early on. And I think it's something that they can be gotten to. I think that they are vulnerable. Especially with maybe some of the choices that they pick and personnel injured or whatnot. But I'm not sure we've got the mentality. Well, I'm not sure that the manager will approach the game in a way that I think we're going to do what Liverpool did in that game where they got absolutely battered. It's going to be frustrating, and it's going to be a tough game. What do you make of their form coming into this game?
Well, like you said, it's pretty much immaculate, isn't it?
Yeah.
By that loss against Basel. They're scoring goals. They're not conceding many. I think they now have the best defence in the Premier League. Yeah. I probably need to double check that, but I'm pretty sure they have.
Yeah, they're on for records and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. The last game we played, I think, was, I can't remember when it was. It was earlier in the season, December, wasn't it?
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
It was when our bad run started.
Yeah.
We lost at home 2-1.
Yeah.
Poor game. We pretty much rolled over and allowed them to dominate. We had no fight, no bite. We did have chances to score.
Yeah.
Some quite good ones as well. But ultimately, we just weren't good enough, and it was painful to watch. And
It was.
a lot of fans after that game were very unhappy. I remember watching some of the
Paul Barrett. Shout out to Paul Barrett.
yeah, exactly. Watching some of the fan cams on the United Stand main YouTube channel, and fans were not happy at all.
Yeah.
But look, their form is immense. Their form is immense, and it's going to be a big ask to beat them. Especially, I mean, they know that they could win the league against us, so that's going to be enough for them to be fired right up, as if the derby itself wasn't enough.
Yeah.
The possibility of actually winning the league against us at their ground, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the previous game that we had, the 2-1 loss, because as frustrating as that game was, and as horrendous it was for all the United fans, I think there is a lot of positives we can take, and we need, I think, to look back at that game because, ideally, we've gifted them 2 goals in that game.
We did. Yeah,
we gifted them the goal. Yeah, we gifted them the goals. We got one back ourselves. Great finish from Marcus Rashford, and then we missed a sitter right at the end with Lukaku. So, as much pressure as we had on us, I think they had like 60% possession or something or whatever. As much as they were hyped up and they did a job on us, it was closer than people made out in terms of the scoreline, and I think we were unlucky. Well, obviously, I'm not taking anything away from City. They deserve to win, but I think we were unlucky not to get something from the game. And I think, looking at that patch of form, we were so good earlier on in the season, but I think as a unit, as a team, I think we've grown. I think Jose is a little bit closer to figuring out his best 11 and who he can trust and who he can't trust. So do I think we're better equipped this time round? Of course I do. Obviously, going to their ground, it's going to be tougher. But I think as good as they've been, I think they're going to have pressure on them. As you rightly said, they've got the chance to win the league at their ground against their biggest rivals. That's a lot of pressure. As everyone will be looking forward to it, and as great as it'll be, there'll be nervous City fans out there. And I think it is a lot of pressure. And I think something that sort of situation, I think is Mourinho's forte. And I'm fully expecting us to put out a defensive side. I'm just hoping he doesn't go too defensive. And you look, and it's one of those games, I think we mentioned last week that, tailoring our game around opposition. And you look at the Swansea game, and we mentioned that I don't particularly think a game like Swansea is something that we should be tailoring our game around. I think we should be playing our own game and taking them out that way. But I think City, it's going to be a lot different. We're going to play it tactically, and we're going to try and stop that attack, which leads us into the danger men. Is it a case of put their faces on the dartboard and throw away? It's a case of pulling out our hat. It's a pretty formidable lineup to pick out the danger men. Who have you got down sort of as the most prominent ones?
Well, I think it goes without saying Kevin De Bruyne.
Yep.
David Silva, Leroy Sané, Sergio Aguero, Raheem Sterling. Those are the players that are causing every team in the Premier League the most problems.
Yeah.
Between them, just those 5 players, they've scored 61 goals this season.
Yeah.
Manchester United, the whole squad, have scored 60 in the Premier League. Just those 5 players have scored more than United's whole squad. Sané, Silva, and De Bruyne, just between those 3 players, have got 37. It's just between those 3 players.
Yeah.
Their midfield and attack are a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it because we're not even close to that.
No, we're not.
But they had those players when we played them earlier in the season. The only reason they scored is because we gifted them 2 goals, as you quite rightly said. A point that I had actually forgotten completely. And we did have chances to score. So whilst they are the danger men and they're scoring left, right, and centre, doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it's going to go against us, especially when it's Mourinho.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very rare that he gets beaten by a considerable margin.
Yeah.
Rare. I'm not saying it's never happened. I'm just saying it's rare. But those are the players that I've picked out. I mean, their whole squad really.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost pointless doing the key men.
It is. It is.
With City, but yeah, those are the players I've gone for.
Yeah.
Probably because of those little stats there, the goals and the assists, incredible.
Yeah.
I'm going to put one question to you actually, just really quickly. A lot of people are saying that this is a freak season for Man City.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, or do you think this is the Man City we're going to see for the next 3, 4, or even 5 years?
I'm almost
still quite young.
I'm almost certain that the Premier League next season will be a lot more competitive. They could well be this good next season, but what I think will happen, and what we've seen happen over, any sort of fantastic team that comes to the Premier League that raises its head, I think is usually, bar maybe a few United sides and a Chelsea side, have been shot down. And I think teams are going to adapt to the way that City play. I think the likes of Chelsea, I think United, I think we're going to be right up there next season, simply due to the fact that Mourinho is Mourinho. He is going to make changes. He is going to implement, new things and the way he wants to play. And I think we'll be a lot closer than we are next season. Will they win it again next season? Quite possibly. There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to add to this already ridiculous squad. Will they get rid of anyone? I don't know. Will any of the big names leave for, a Real Madrid or a Barcelona? Who knows? But I can't see them doing it again next season. I really can't. Not with the Premier League. If it's the Bundesliga or Liga 1 or whatever, possibly, but not in the Premier League. I think managers and teams are too savvy. I think the mentality is so much different to other leagues. And I think that it will be closer. I can't see it. And I do say freak season because I just don't think other teams were prepared with what City brought to the table this season. And they deserve everything they got. As much as it pisses me off to say it, they deserve everything they get this season because they have been superb. But no, I don't think it's going to last for an extended period. Not the dominance. They could win the league for the next 3 or 4 seasons, but not with the dominance they've done it this season. Not a chance in my mind whatsoever.
Well, I do hope you're right. I don't think it's a freak season at all. You look at their squad, you look at the way they play. I think this is going to be Man City for a few years. I think they could go through the next 2 seasons, maybe losing only 2 or 3 games.
Yeah,
it's not unheard of for Premier League champions to only lose. I mean, the last time Chelsea won it under Mourinho, they only lost 2 games.
Yeah,
in the whole season. The 95-point tool. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think you can call this a freak season for Man City. I mean, for Man City it is. But I don't think this is just going to be like it this season and next season they finish the season with 10 points less. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to be like this now for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's up to us and the teams around us to improve and challenge them. I think we will next year. I think Liverpool will next year. As for Chelsea, Arsenal and Spurs, I don't think they're even close.
No.
Chelsea are going to have a new manager next season. I think Conte will be gone.
Yeah.
He's failed to avoid the Mourinho season, which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
I think Wenger will be out in the summer. Unless he wins the Europa League. You never know. He might stay another year. I would love that.
Yeah.
I don't want him to win the Europa League, though, because then that makes it look less good on us then.
Yeah, it does.
I don't think Arsenal or Chelsea are anywhere near. Spurs, I think they're just going to be sort of a top 4 team.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool, the way they've played this season, they've done, they've got into the finals of the Champions League. They may even beat Man City and go through to the semis. They're putting their name out there. They're putting their style of football out there. They're going to attract players in the summer if the board will back Klopp. So I think that they could, mount a challenge next season. You never know. I wouldn't put it past them. They've done well this year. I think it's going to be up to the likes of us and Liverpool to put the challenge to City. So I don't think City are going to falter or be worse next season. I think they'll be just as much the same next season as they have been this season. But anyway, you were going to mention your key players.
No. Do you know what? And the 5, I think we've pretty much done it because the 5 that you wrote down are exactly the 5 that I have down for City. It's It literally spot on, those 5 players, and I didn't know that. I'm glad you said the stats about the goals and everything that they've scored, because it is ridiculous. But as you rightly said, we've played them already this season. We've dealt with them fairly comfortably, albeit giving them a couple of goals. And I think we can get a result. I really do. And there's not another manager in the world I wouldn't want taking us into this game than Mourinho.
You say that. I mentioned earlier on the weekend I was around Jolties watching the basketball, and we spoke briefly about this game coming up against City, and he reckons that we'll get slaughtered. We may well get slaughtered. We don't know.
Yeah.
I think we can get something from the game.
Yeah.
I've got this niggling feeling in the back of my head that's like, don't be so pessimistic.
Yeah.
Don't be such a defeatist. You know, there's this little niggling feeling in the back of my head that we might actually get something from this game, purely because we knocked them out of the cup last year. You know, it's not like we haven't beat them for 5 years.
Yeah.
We have got victories against them. It's just that they're blowing everyone else out of the water at the moment. Yeah. But I just, like you, there's this little niggling feeling that we might get something from this game on the weekend.
Yeah, I'm positive-ish. So going on with that, what are your tactics? Who are you going to play? How are you going to play? Who would you like to see play? Who do you think Mourinho is going to play? What's it all about? Go on.
You want me to go first, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
Right, well, at the moment, in this game against City, we want to get the best out of our best players at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think the way that we played against Swansea in the first half, I know it's only Swansea, but the way we haven't played like that for a long time.
Yeah.
Especially the fluidity amongst our forward players and the way that we were getting the ball out from the back via Matic, it was a lot better than what we've seen recently. So I've made with just one change from the Swansea game.
Okay.
So I'm sticking with a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
See, now I was undecided between 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3.
Okay.
I was thinking 4-3-3, Matic, Pogba, Herrera. But then I would have to drop one of Mata, Lingard, or Sanchez.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to drop any of them. I thought, no, I want all of them to play. So I've gone 4-2-3-1. David De Gea in goal.
Yeah.
Defence is where the only one change comes in. Lindelof goes out, Bailly comes in.
Okay.
The young at left back, Smalling and Bailly, Valencia at right back. I don't think against Man City is the game to test Bailly and Lindelof together.
Okay.
I think that should have happened against Swansea. The Smalling, you can rely on Smalling for his strength and his aerial ability. He's a good tackler of the ball, and he can give the ball to Bailly or Matic to get it out of the defence.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to stay with the ball at his feet. That's my back four.
Okay.
Matic and Pogba in the two-man midfield again, with Pogba on the right-hand side, so he's not interfering with Sanchez. Yeah. And then the three attacking midfielders, Sanchez on the left, Lingard in the middle, Mata on the right wing. All three of them are going to interchange throughout the game, like they did against Swansea. Sometimes Mata might even drift out onto the left, Lingard's come over to the right, and Sanchez has come into the middle. We've seen that a few times. We've seen Sanchez. Who the hell is Sanchez? We've seen Lingard drift out to the left and Sanchez drift into the middle. Those three players linking up together, mixing it about, worked very well against Swansea, and I want to see that again against Man City. Give their defenders something to think about as well. Yeah. And then obviously Lukaku up top. So David De Gea in goal, Young, Smalling, Bailly, Valencia, Matic, Pogba, Sanchez, Lingard, Mata, Lukaku. I think that team can do very well and cause City problems.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, because ideally, if I was picking the team, I'd probably do something similar to that. Yeah, like you said, to that Swansea gig. That first half was fantastic. Obviously, it's a different kettle of fish going up against City, in comparison to Swansea. But the way we played, the football, the attitude, I think it was all there. However, I've set up a little bit different, and I never do this. I never pick this sort of formation, but I've gone for it, and I don't know why. Well, it's kind of a blend, really. You could say it's one of four formations, depending on how you look at it. I've gone with, shock horror, a 5 at the back.
Okay.
Obviously, David De Gea in goal, Valencia and Young as your fullbacks, and then Bailly, Lindelof and Smalling.
Okay, yeah.
As a three-man central defense partnership. Again, I want to see Bailly and Lindelof together, and you're right. You're right in what you said. It's probably not the game to do it, but if you throw another man in there, it could well be.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah,
and I think against that attack, just gives us a little bit of extra cover, and then the likes of Lindelof and Bailly can step into midfield and bring the ball out a little bit better, with leaving a man there for cover. Pogba and Matic as a two-man midfield. However, with that, I've got a front three, so it's sort of a 5-2-3. Or a 5-3-2, because I've got Lingard in there, and he could either drop into the midfield to make it a three-man midfield, or push on to make it a three-man attack. And then Lukaku and Sanchez. So it's Valencia, Bailly, Lindelof, Smalling, Young as a five-man at the back, Pogba and Matic, Lingard, Lukaku and Sanchez up top. But your Lingard could drop into the number 10 and have Lukaku and Sanchez up front. So it's like a 5-2-1-2. You could have a 5-2-2-1 with Lingard and Sanchez a little bit deeper than Lukaku. There's so many things you could do with it. And I think it could be very interesting. Not that he'll play that, but that's what I've got a sneaking suspicion. I'd go for that. I think that can do damage against City whilst retaining a little bit of solidity against the City attack. That's what I
like it. I like it.
Yeah, that's what
The only thing I don't like about that is that you've dropped Mata.
I have, yeah, and it was between him and Lingard. And I was toying with the idea, and the only reason I went for Lingard is because his pace and his ability to transition between midfield and attack. That's the only reason I went for it. Plus his very good performance against Swansea. That was the only reason.
That's the same dilemma I had as well, and I was trying to choose between a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-3-1. Was who do I take out of the attacking players?
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to take any of them out. So I thought, well, go 4-2-3-1, keep it the same as Swansea, bring Bailly in. We've then got Martial and Rashford on the bench. Should we need to, if we're a goal down, we need to get a goal back and run to the cosh a little bit. Chuck them, one of them or both of them on each wing for a bit of pace, for the counter attack. So we've got that option as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had this very similar dilemma.
It's a tough one. It'd be interesting to see what he does. Very interesting.
It'd be interesting to get the thoughts of everyone listening, actually. So if you are listening, either tweet us at United Stand Pod, which is the Talking Manchester United podcast Twitter account, or if you are listening on YouTube, drop a comment below. What would your formation be? Who would you put in the starting 11? Do you like what we've gone with, or would you go with something completely different? So give us your thoughts on that, maybe even a score prediction. We've got to do that as well, yeah?
We have.
Or you can tweet us individually at Paul Gardner LP or at Ash Boyo, ASHBOIO, the obligatory spelling of the Twitter account there, because I feel like it's not done properly if I don't spell it.
It is. It's got to be done.
So, yeah, you want to do score predictions?
Yeah. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, go on, you go first.
I'm going 1-1.
That's exactly what I've gone with.
I had a feeling it was either 0-0 or 1-1.
Because I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it earlier on today, and I thought, look, there's a little niggling feeling in the back of my head that we're going to get something from this game. Part of me thinks we might snatch a win, but there's also a big part of me that thinks we could get taught a lesson.
Yeah.
And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go 1-1. Somewhere, in the middle. We're not going to lose. You might win, but I'm going 1-1.
I'd take a 1-1 all day. And it's as horrible as it sounds against City. Always want to beat City. And I think we always should be trying to beat City, but I'd take a 1-1 to stop them, obviously for probably only another week. But to stop them winning the title against us, it'd be such a slap in the face.
I was going to ask you, actually. Sorry, go on. I lost you then for a minute. I didn't realize you were still talking.
Oh, yeah. It'd be such a slap in the face just to delay it for another week and not give them the satisfaction of winning it against us at the Etihad. Sorry. So, yeah. Dig.
Yeah, one thing I was going to ask you, actually, I can't believe I don't even know this, is how much I don't care about them.
Yeah.
But a draw would be enough to delay it then, would it? Because I thought we had to beat them.
Oh, I don't know. Do we have to win, or is it?
No idea. Let's just leave that. We can find that out later. But yeah,
don't know. Oh,
I'm not sure, to be honest. But anyway, a draw, I would take a draw at their ground.
yeah.
You know, as
Yeah.
long as all I want, the thing I want most is, well, obviously not to lose, but just to play well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because the last time we played against them, they made us look stupid.
Yeah.
They look like the home team, not us. I want us to go there and give them a game.
Yeah.
You know, do I expect us to go toe to toe with them? Probably not. Not when you look at the quality of their forwards against ours. You know, the amount of goals that they've got between them compared to ours. I mean, like I said earlier on, just between their 5 of their front 6. I say front 6 because their midfielders chip in with all the goals as well.
Yeah.
But 61 goals just between those 5 players, and the whole of the United team has only scored 60 in the Premier League. You know, it's just makes you think, Christ, how are we going to come out of this game with something? But it's possible. It's possible.
And it is. I think I was correct. They have to beat us for them to win the title.
Right. Cool.
If they fail to beat us, they'll be able to win the title if they win away at Spurs the week after.
Excellent.
So yeah, so it's anything but a loss. I'm taking anything but a loss.
No, I agree with that, and a decent performance.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
all I want. That's all I want. It's a decent performance, strong defensive performance. Matic and Pogba to really grab a hold of the game, really put a shift in, especially Pogba.
Yeah,
I want to see him charging about that midfield.
Yeah,
and then get the ball forward and let the forwards do what they do.
Yeah,
that's all I want. That's all I want.
4-0 United win. Let's go.
If they're all on their game, if Sanchez is on his game, if Mataz's on his game, if Lingard's on his game, they can cause problems, and we can probably get a win out of this.
Yeah, we could. It's possible. Very possible.
Oh, I'm excited.
Come on.
I know it won't be. Come kick off. I'll be like, oh, God. Here we go.
I will be drinking heavily before the game.
But yeah, those of you listening, let us know what you think. Like I said, comment, subscribe, like. If you're on YouTube, if you're listening on your podcast app, head over to Twitter and tweet us. We'll give you the Twitter details and the YouTube details again at the end anyway. Should we head over to Twitter then, see what people are saying?
Indeed, we can. So yeah, tweet went out as normal, recording the podcast. What would you like us to discuss? Top of the shop, Mr. Steve Hatz, at Steve Hatz 1. He says, would like more info on my favourite player at United and why is he being treated so harshly after not putting a foot wrong this season in the games he's won us this year. What is Jose's problem with Martial? And he now wants to sell him for injury-prone Bale. Our thoughts?
Well, we don't know that about Bale, do we? We don't know that we're going to sell Martial to bring in Bale. We don't know that for sure.
No.
Last season it was going to be De Gea plus money for Bale, and the season before that it was someone else. And
yeah,
you know, we're linked to Ronaldo every year. That's picked up again in the last couple of days. I've seen that again.
Oh, get a grip.
So I don't know about that. I don't even know if Martial will leave at the end of the season. But I mean, people that listen to us on a weekly basis will know my feelings on Martial. But just to keep it brief, he's not as good as everyone makes him out to be. He's got 9 goals and 5 assists, I think, in all competitions this season. He's played nearly 1,400 minutes of football.
Yeah,
he's not that far behind Eden Hazard in terms of minutes. I think it equates to about 3 matches or 4 matches in total.
Yeah,
in difference. That's not a lot over the course of almost the whole season, really. And the United Stand main account put a tweet out a few weeks ago saying that, you know, Martial has got 9 goals, Hazard's only got 9, and I think Sanchez at this point only had 7 and things like that. And I thought, well, that's not looking at the bigger picture, is it? Because although attacking midfielders, another thing you expect from them is to create a lot of chances for your striker and for the other attacking midfielders. And that's where Martial falls flat. Because when you then look at the stats, comparing Martial to Hazard, whilst their goals might be very similar, you look at the amount of chances that Hazard creates, it's more than double what Martial does. And that's the big difference. You know, a lot of the times Martial will get the ball, he'll run with it, he'll lose it. Or he'll play a cut-back pass that won't even beat the first defender. Or he'll lose the ball, take too many touches. I'm not saying he's rubbish by any stretch of the imagination, but he's just not as good as everyone makes him out to be. And you just have to compare him to the other top wingers or attacking midfielders in the Premier League to see that. It's okay looking at goals, 9 goals, but that's not the biggest part of his game. If he's not creating chances for others to do it, and 5 assists isn't a lot. You look at Man City, 3 players have got nearly 40 assists between them.
Yeah.
5 assists. None of them have got less than 10 assists as well, by the way. I think Sane and Silva have got 11. De Bruyne's got 15.
Yeah.
So you can't say that Martial is world class at the moment and should be a regular starter for Man United, because he shouldn't. Nor should Rashford. He's not on that same level either. Nope. Sanchez, on his day, can be. He's proved it year in, year out with Udinese, Barcelona, Arsenal. That's why he was brought in, because he can be that player to do that. Martial hasn't done that. Let's not also forget, Martial's been at Man United for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And he's still not doing it. So it's not a surprise, really, that Mourinho is losing a bit of patience with him and Rashford.
Yeah.
And it's not a case of he's not getting chances. He's getting plenty of chances. Both of them are. Lots of minutes, actually. And a lot of Martial's goals have come late on in the game when he comes on for the last 10, 15 minutes against defences that are tired. That was another big talking point for a long time amongst not just fans, but also pundits, that when Martial starts games, he's largely ineffective.
Yeah.
But when he comes on late on against a defence that's already knackered because they've had to face Rashford for 75 minutes, or whoever else is playing, he comes on and then he's effective then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it remains to be seen. It's not a surprise to me that he's not playing over Sanchez, Lingard and Mata, because they've been brilliant. And like you quite rightly pointed out as well, Ash, when Martial and Rashford are out of the team, we seem to play better.
Yeah, we do.
Recently, especially anyway. So that's my thoughts on that. My brief thoughts on that.
So yeah, to sum it up, you're a French Chicharito.
Yeah. But look, we know he can be a wonderful player.
Yeah.
That goal against Liverpool, which he's living off to this day. I can't let it go.
Yeah.
I've seen some more tweets, Ash, as well in the last couple of weeks.
Come on.
But it's always the same gift, that goal against Liverpool. He's living off that goal still. It's so frustrating. But look, we know what he's capable of. He can be a spectacular footballer. But when you're at Man United, you can't be afforded 3 seasons.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, Mkhitaryan is one example. But he was already, pushing 30. Yeah. Martial still has a lot of time on his side, which is why I'm not so sure that he will go in the summer. He might. But I'm not sure about it yet. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can't follow that. All I can say is, I completely agree. Him and Rashford, they're both in the same boat. Both so inconsistent and seem to slow us down, if anything. So,
but like I said, time is on their side at the moment.
Yeah. It is, definitely. I don't want to see either of them go.
On the other side, on the flip side of the coin, they have had 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, look, we could bring in another attacking midfielder, another established, seasoned professional, world class or top class, proven player. But that doesn't necessarily spell the end for either Rashford or Martial. They're still young, and a lot of teams, they would only be squad players at this stage of their career. Yeah,
completely agree. Moving on, Rodney Cyrus. Thank you for your question, Rodney. He says, is being second good enough?
Do you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, no. It's not. It is not. You'll see a lot of players, a lot of fans and such say, was Manchester United, we're not second, but looking at things, we deserve to be where we are at the moment. We are second, and we get everything that we work for. We deserve to be second. We're nowhere near being number one, and it's going to take time. But is that what we should strive for, to be second? No, definitely not. We should always want to be the best. That has been the Manchester United mentality. But do I think it's a God-given right that we should be first? Hell no. I think you work for what you get. I think we need to improve in a lot of areas. We need to get rid of a lot of players. We need to bring some players in, and it needs a good shake-up, and that's not going to happen overnight. Probably won't even happen next season. I think we'll come a lot closer next season. Do I think we'll win the title? I'm not so sure, but It's going to take time. The transition is going to take a few transfer windows to get everyone gelled together, clear out some of the deadwood, and then we can see where we are. But no, it's for me, it's no, second is not good enough.
Well, in short, it's not. No, you're right. We want to be champions.
Yeah,
that's our thing. You want to be Premier League champions. You want to be, get into finals of the Champions League. And,
yeah.
If we get it, a domestic cup as well, which would be a bonus. But if you want to put a little perspective onto it, when you consider our squad, when you consider where we finished last season, when you consider how good City have been, then I suppose you could say actually that's pretty good, being second at the moment. But yeah, no, we want to be champions.
Yeah. Rome's MUFC, should Lingard be in our starting 11 as a number 10 week in, week out, even though he only turns up against lesser teams? It's debatable.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's turned up in some big games as well.
Arsenal comes to mind.
Yeah, Arsenal, yeah.
No, who did he score against? I can't remember. There was another one.
Can't remember. But yeah, he's shown up in some big games as well. Should he be number 10 week in, week out? Well, the way he's playing at the moment, well, we've put him in our lineups, haven't we?
Yep.
For Man City. He played well against Swansea. He did well against, I think he played well for England as well, didn't he? I didn't actually watch the game. But
got the winning goal.
Very well, yeah. So at the moment, yeah, I would say yes to that.
Yeah, exactly the same. For me, he's one of those players that just seems to link everything together whilst not doing very much. But he's there, and I think he's as much as we slate him, I think he's a very intelligent player.
What he can also do as well, and I can't remember who it was that touched on this, but I read it somewhere, that one of the big problems that he causes for defences, let me get that right. Yeah. One of the things he does well to cause problems for defences is that when he picks up the ball, he doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Where a lot of players will control the ball, they'll look for a pass, he will keep moving. He'll pick up the ball and he keeps moving. Sometimes when he's passed the ball, it's a quick flick. He's got a good football brain, which he didn't have that for a long time. But I've seen it in the last few weeks, the last few months, that his game's improved tenfold.
Yeah.
And I never thought I'd be saying this earlier on in the season, as you mentioned earlier on about the Lingard wave, as I described it.
Yeah.
Which I thought would come crashing down. Looked like it did for a while.
Yeah, it did.
But it's sort of picking back up again. So this is, I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll be starting him.
Yeah.
Got what I was going with that, to be honest.
I bought it. It's fine. Yeah, I go with that. And then to finish us off, it's a deep one. I like it. So Zach Brown, thank you, Zach. Usually gets involved and has a few discussions. Would you rather win this weekend and postpone City winning the title, or lose and have United give City the guard of honour to light a fire under the players' asses and motivate them more for the rest of the season and for next season?
Do you want to go first on that one?
Yeah. No, I don't want to let them win. I never want to lose to City, ever. Same as Liverpool, same as Arsenal, same as Chelsea. I never want to lose.
Guard of honour, though. We wouldn't, would we? That'd be the next game.
Yeah, I think you mean maybe as they're leading them off the field or something. Do they do a little thing where they go either side of the pitch? I don't know. It wouldn't be. It'd be a guard of honour the next game. You are right.
I think on the day.
Yeah.
I think City would just stay on the pitch and celebrate.
Yeah.
Man United would be down the tunnel straight away. I don't think there'll be any guard of honour on that game. That would just be cruel.
Yeah, it would. But I think maybe you go look, if City win that game, you just look at the scenes that are going to happen afterwards. And again, maybe that can come into it as well. For me, no, I don't want to be losing that game, regardless of what it does. I think it could work. How you mentioned it, it could maybe light a fire under their asses and give them a bit of a kick. But it could work the opposite way as well. It could demote. It could deflate them. Yeah, it could deflate them, and it could have an impact. We've still got an FA Cup semi-final. As much as we say this season is over. Top four is pretty much guaranteed now. We still want to be fighting for second. Still got an FA Cup semi-final, so I think we should be We should be trying to win every game, and there's nothing worse. I don't think that could happen this weekend. I just don't want it to happen. So yeah, not for me. As much as it could spark them, I think it could go the other way, but never want to lose to City.
No, agreed.
Yeah, agreed. No,
is that it then? Is it?
Yeah, that's it. That's
excellent. Okay, well, we wrap it up there then. So thank you everyone for listening. Ash, do you want to give out your Twitter details?
Yeah, it's ASHBOIO, Ash Boyo. Got to spell it again. Yeah, come chuck me some discussion points. Come have a natter. Pretty much answer every single tweet I get. So yeah, come and have a natter.
You can also follow myself. It's at Paul Gardiner LP. Also follow our United Stand podcast Twitter account. Obviously, the podcast series is called Talking Manchester United, so you can search for us there, or you just literally follow us at United Stand Pod. If you're unaware, we are also now on YouTube, so you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just search Talking Manchester United, and we'll pop up there, or search United Stand. You should be able to find us under both names. Follow us, give us likes on the videos, and comment as well. Get involved in some discussion with us. What do you think of the lineups? Do you think we'll get a victory against City? Let us know what you think. Whilst you're on YouTube, head over to VanCam. I'm sure you will know what VanCam is by now. If you don't, search it. It's Kev Ashford. Literally just records a video from his van every week, posts it on a Friday. It's a barrel of laughs. I definitely recommend getting over there and giving that a watch. So I think that's it. So Ash, thank you for joining me.
Thanking you.
And thank you everyone for listening. We will be back next week. Ta-da.